Then he unresigned. And yesterday he says he'd be keen to stand in a by-election, if any come up in a Labour seat. And yesterday a row appeared to break out between the party's one MP, Douglas Carswell, and others within the party over whether it should accept £650,000 of public money on offer as an opposition party at Westminster. Let's have a listen to Douglas Carswell speaking on the Today programme earlier today.
There are one or two rather excitable staffers in UKIP who came up with a proposal that involves hiring 15 extra people. I would just point out that, I'm not an American senator. I doubt very much that even Ed Miliband, when he was leader of the opposition, would have had 15 staff in his office. I would much rather deal with this now than in a year's time face awkward questions from journalists like you phoning up and saying, why on earth are you spending the best part of £1 million running an office? UKIP's meant to be different, and UKIP is going to be different. And I think we need to make absolutely clear that when we spend money, we're doing it because it's the right thing to do, not just simply because the money's there.
Douglas Carswell. Well, we're joined now by our political correspondent, Robin Brandt. Welcome to the Daily Politics. Has war broken out at Team UKIP?
Yes, it has, yeah. I mean, a party with just one MP, and there are serious splits, almost unbelievably. And I think what you've got...
That is an achievement.
I've been using that gag for 24 hours now. Yeah. I think what you've got is a principled row between Douglas Carswell and some senior figures at the top of the party about what they do with this £650,000. I mean, he has said repeatedly, I'm not a US senator. He doesn't believe he needs this huge, sizable staff. And he has made comparisons, I think, in private to perhaps how UKIP staff operate in Brussels and what they do with Brussels money. He thinks Westminster is different. This is a man, of course, who came to power in Clacton on a ticket to reform the way that Westminster politics is done. And yet some figures at the top of the party and around Nigel Farage believe they need the money, believe they should take the money, and believe they should take as much as they can possibly get. So there's that principled row. There's also, as well, something quite nasty going on in private between Douglas Carswell and one senior figure in particular close to Nigel Farage, briefing against each other. I think there's some dishonest versions of what's gone on, and that's all gone public, and that's quite nasty.
Is their claim to be different to the other Westminster parties wearing thin?
Well, I mean, look, you've got Nigel Farage, the man who said his head was on the block, rather. He would go, he went, then he didn't go. There were some criticisms made by other senior figures about how that would look. That may damage his reputation as a man who can be true to his word. I think Carswell is a man roundly respected for being principled, making that move last year from the Tories to UKIP. And as I said, he's a man who was elected, re-elected again on Thursday on a ticket to reform Westminster politics, change a lot of the way that business is done over there. And he doesn't think taking as much short money as they can possibly get and not really justifying perhaps where it goes, he doesn't think that's the way to continue to build up that reputation.
Because the system, of course, was put in place in the 1970s, this idea that if you're an opposition party, you will get a certain amount of money to be able to function.
It's based on votes, MPs.
Absolutely, but one MP, I suppose it does look slightly strange if there are 19 staff working in one office.
There is an anomaly now. I mean, they got the one MP, first past the post, punished them, but 4 million votes. They amassed a huge amount of votes. That is the main reason why they now get this huge amount of cash. And, he said the party secretary from UKIP approached him 2 days ago, said wanting to take on 15 extra staff, basically spend that money. But the money must go on parliamentary business. It can't go on supporting perhaps other functions of UKIP more generally, or it's certainly not supposed to. And he sees the possibility here of this massive staff working in his office over there just not being acceptable, certainly to himself personally, and certainly not to UKIP voters.
Just very briefly, who's going to win? Douglas Carswell?
Well, he doesn't sound to me like a man who's willing to stand down, but Farage is going to have to resolve this.
Thank you, Robin.
You didn't frankly have the balls to put country before party.